Is January 14th, 2024. God of heaven, you do realize during the case, I told you in May of 19, these really heavy set blonde girls, showed up with the big truck guys, human traffickers, that they were stealing everything for them. And they're heavy set, really heavy set. Okay? Like 200-pound to 250 girls. All right? They called them Michelle and Lauren. All right? They told Louisville in 19 they were stealing for them. Okay? That agent in the beginning of the case, he's playing like Bonnie and Clyde, doing all kinds of crimes in front of the law enforcement, laughing at them. They're getting away with it. You know what I mean? He's doing like Bonnie and Clyde with her. During the case, when the case first started, he told everyone that church was trying to have me killed. Ask everyone to help keep an eye on me. Okay? Make it sound like the big man. Then he told everybody Will considers Karen his girlfriend. Well, that's really weird. I've only talked to him on the phone. And I have never met him in person. So that's creepy. Even bikers in Louisville, we all know Will calls Karen his girlfriend. That's sick and weird. I've never talked to him in person, only on the phone. Never met him. Do you realize how creepy that is? Then he had women show up, including at this healthcare place I was training at. 2 prostitutes. Cut clear down below my chest, below your breast. And the little red dresses barely covered her butt. It almost looked like they had bathing suits on, heels. He took us out today instead of you. Who cares? Who cares? Then he says, all these women, he took me out because he said, you're not good enough. I've never met him. And he's making fun of a rape victim. He's turned over the drug cartel to drug, beat, and rape, crush my skull in, human traffic, rape, and torture. While he's being this big celebrity out there taking all these women out, he's using the case's money to take all these women out. He's stealing from the government to take us out. Like it's something great. Instead of being appalled. Huh? That he's being this big celebrity doing Bonnie and Clyde kind of stuff. Okay? Then that Michelle and Lauren told Maslin October 4th, 23, that Will was stealing for them. The one went down a lot. She was probably at least still 16. Like they said, when people find out who he's actually stealing for, nobody finds it funny. I was up in Akron, 2 houses down from where my client was. The Michelle and Lauren were up there telling them that he was stealing for them. Okay? And one of my client's neighbors said, I told that Lauren I didn't want her up here anymore. Okay? They rode with the big truck guys, the human traffickers. An FBI agent that opened my case, where I called the hotline, the one that returned my phone call, like they said, it's documented and verified. The agent that returned her phone call from the hotline is the one that told on her to that church before he spoke to her. Okay? And that was what? November of 22, they were telling some lady, and they're like, oh my Lord. Okay? December 2nd, 22 in Alliance, Wendy's at noon, that it's one guy from the case stealing every dime since the first day. October 6th, 23, Walmart 62, that one girl that's claiming that he's stealing for her, it's the one guy from the case stealing every dime that he can. He's playing Bonnie and Clyde with her. Okay? And then you got to think how many women showed up. He bought me a shirt today and went out with me because you're not good enough. I've never met him in person, and that makes him look like a crazy, creepy stalker. And do you realize what kind of sick bastard? He tells on me for calling the hotline. Witnessed by the police. Confesses on a recorded line. Bullies me. Laughs at me how this church is trying to have me killed. Makes fun of me for some guy named Pete, how he's scamming me and I don't know. makes me beg for my life, lists me informant, and then threatens me. Even though he's confessed he's already talked to everyone, told everyone, he's going along with them. He even told Apostolic Church of Barberton he knew I was being drugged, beat, and raped. Didn't care because the strangest made-up baby lie of faking you were sick 15 years ago. It was a medication error, medical malpractice. Almost killed me. Okay? And he only made up that lie to cover up Tim and Katie, that he thought I was out following him, and it was Linda following her husband. She got caught. They thought it was me, and he made up a baby lie. Had nothing to do with that other family. And it was 6 months later. It'd be like someone dying here in January, and then somebody making up something shitty on somebody in July or August. It's a half a year later. Has nothing to do with them. Like they said, when they thought I was following Tim and Katie, that agent needs to get his facts straight. They were planning this since 03. It was a medication error made her sick before. Okay? Why did they wait 15 years? Well, when Strange thought she was following Tim and Katie, he ordered her to be killed. And they were to try to have her killed. If that didn't work, to have her destroyed. They've been planning this since 03. For 15 years they planned it. Nobody was to say or do a thing till Dave said he wanted a divorce. And it took Dave 15 years to say it. That's why they waited. That agent needs to get his facts straight before he puts his name on anything. So where that agent said, told Apostolic Church of Barberton, he knows she's being drugged, beat, and raped, and he said he didn't care because the strangest made up baby lie to cover up Tim and Katie. And if she was going to be mean to women, he didn't care what they did to her. And he was going to turn her back over to him. He told him he was going to defraud me before he opened my case. Had all the plans to do all this to steal in front of people and use people's low IQs not to turn him in for stealing from the government and letting the human traffickers sell and kill people here. And these lowlifes, you throw $5 at them, they'll shut their mouths. Oh, that's great. Oh, only 20 kids got taken this month. 10 kids, 30 kids. And until the U.S. Marshals showed up and started blowing the hell out of them, the people were disappearing like crazy. There's still over 1,000 people missing. There's still people coming up missing here and there. They get taken. And these idiots don't care about other people's lives or children's lives. And that agent thinking he's some kind of celebrity, playing Bonnie and Clyde with that girl. I told you. Then he told everybody he thought I threatened his daughter. So he told them he didn't care what they did to me. And then December 1824. Karen really didn't know who Michelle was until January or February of 19. He knew that. He knew that. December 9th, 18, Dave confessed I never caught him with anyone. And if I never caught him with anyone, there was no one to threaten or be mean to. And David already told people he hired Pete on his own. It was Pete and his men in my home before, in our home before. And he didn't meet that agent until that church. When she called the FBI for help, some agent showed up at that church, and that's where he met him and talked to him. So he didn't even know you. So how would he know your daughter? It was a lie you and her came up with to steal. December 1824. See, I didn't believe that little girl when she walked in. Sitting in Faith Family Church, where they said Auntie Shell, I thought it was Michelle Cowgill, this heavy-set 50-year-old woman in his church. It's only Michelle I knew connected to him. Okay? So I'm sitting in there, and teenagers walk in, they're loud. Church hadn't started yet. I look back, and Michelle's a normal name. And then all of a sudden, she yells out, I'm the one that dates Dave. I look back, and she points at me, I'm the one that dates her husband. And I'm like, you? I thought it was Michelle Cowgill. Look back, and I'm like, you don't look 18 years old. Look back, you don't look 100 pounds. Look back, it's like, You look homeless and like a teenage prostitute. And then she's talking about having anybody drug, beat, and rape. She just has to ask those guys. And I thought, you're crazy and dangerous. And then she's talking how she spent the night with all these guys. And she was wearing one of their clothes. That's why her clothes didn't fit. And you're supposed to be dating my husband? Yeah, I don't think so, honey. That would have been statutory rape. I went to leave, and the cops were like, are they trying to set her husband up with going out for an underage prostitute? I thought, that's what I thought. What is she, 15, 16? I thought, yeah, that's what I thought. And then the one cop said I would have pegged her at 14. 14, 16, 90 pounds, yeah. I didn't believe her. Didn't like the police said, we all watched Karen's face when that girl said that. She didn't believe a word out of her mouth, no. Still never talked to her. So, yeah, it was a scam they came up. Another scam to steal. That's where January 5th, 25. Walmart 62. The undercover police come in. What is this? We found out that another FBI agent lied to the U.S. Marshals that she was weird with herself. We always knew it was photoshopped of washing yourself in the shower. We always knew that. It was photoshopped of washing yourself in the shower. And we knew they had drugged her and told her to say it before. Now we found out some other FBI agents lied to the U.S. Marshals. The agent over a case we got him taped, that he let all this happen because he thought she threatened his daughter. And to find out she didn't even know who she is. What was the FBI doing? Getting even with her? For thinking she threatened one of their kids, and to find out that she didn't know who she was? Oh, he knew I didn't know. It was a lie they came up with to steal in front of people. Yeah. They were scamming everybody. Because Dave even told people he met the agent at that church. When he was telling everybody she called the FBI hotline for help. He met him there. So he wouldn't know his kid. See, then the whole thing of it is, I lived in Massillon. I lived in Perry Township. Okay? It's in between Massillon and Canton. Okay? I was selling my house, buying a new house, had my kids, my grandkids, then packing that house into storage units and a storage unit in Danny's house, and then had to move up there, then unpack it, and then fix up the new house. And because we had to have a new septic tank put in, and he was too tight to drop the dirt with grass seed, you can rake it out from the front to the back. It was like a half acre, several cars wide. It took me weeks filling in potholes, raking it smooth, planting grass. I did it from the front to the back. Planted the pine bushes, cleaned out the back tree area where there's broken bottles and cans, built the flower bed around the new septic tank. It took me weeks and weeks without unpacking all that stuff. And then I go see my grandkids. I lived out in the middle of nowhere. Outside Ravenna. It was 10 miles out of town. So where would I know his kid? Exactly. And before that, I lived in Perry Township, and then I was doing the other. Before that, I was renovating the house for over a year and a half to get ready to go up for sale. Had the kids, had the grandkids, had Dave. I had my own life, living my life. Dave wasn't apparently staying at work. And see, I've almost wondered if Michelle isn't that weird blonde girl that showed up 6 months before the case. We were out one day. It was in March of 18. March or April. It's about the time where it's followed and rented and then almost kidnapped. Okay? Dave insisted in going to this one restaurant. It was empty. There's one couple over in the corner, and there's this older couple in this one booth. The waitress sits us right behind them. We sit down. This young blonde girl, barely 18, if that, walks by, goes, and looks at me. And sits down, rams her body in the back of the booth. Does he think it's funny bringing her here? I said, Dave, who's that? He's like, I don't know. Well, the older parents are talking about Dave by name. And I said, Dave, who are those people? He's like, I don't know. Bam! In the back of the booth and pushes me forward. And I'm like, Dave, who are those people? He's like, I don't know. And she keeps doing it until I'm like, Dave, can I sit over there with you? He's like, yes. I said, who are those people? He's like, I don't know. Okay? And in 2020 or 2021, I was at Wood Forest. Officer Mark or John should remember seeing her. A girl looked about 18 years old, tan khaki pants, about 100 pounds or less. Thin little t-shirt, walks up, blonde hair down below her bra strap, okay? Walks up and looks at me as if you don't know what's going on. And she walks off, and I thought, I've seen you before. Where have I seen you? Oh my God. From that restaurant 6 months before the case started, the crazy girl that was throwing her body in the back of the booth. Then I got to thinking, the old people she was sitting with, do you remember, Officer Mark and John, do you remember the 3 older parents that would harass me, said they were waiting for me to die from all my injuries? There was a older white guy, 70s, wore black glasses with an old blonde lady that was heavyset, and he wore a white baseball cap, and they would harass me a lot. She was with them, and they were part of the 3 sets of mean parents harassing me, even bragging they were waiting for me to die from all my injuries. But they were there 6 months before the case, which makes you wonder where Apostolic Church of Barberton, they were up there talking. Mary's niece, for the opportunity to date Dave or someone like Dave, she would be willing to kill someone. Dave was excited. He had never had somebody willing to kill someone just to date him. Is that Mary's niece? And I told you, Mary's families are shed. Her second husband, Dave, she was working during the day and he was asleep, and she had her niece watch her girls. Okay? She comes home and finds her niece in bed with him, having sex. They ended up divorced. Her own family, her own niece, slept with her husband. Okay? So the thought that one of those reprobate people would kill somebody they didn't know to steal their home and jewelry, their house and their life, well, they didn't get it either. They wasted their time. Now, I don't know if that's Michelle, because if that's not her, I haven't figured out who she actually is, the one they called Auntie Shell. Because I told you I thought it was Michelle Cowgill, this heavy-set 50-year-old woman that went to his church, and she was so mean to Mike, her first husband. I thought it served Dave right, try to have me killed for that mean girl after I treated him like a king, and serve him right. So, yeah, and it wasn't her. See, people laughed at me that I didn't know. Where's it funny that my husband cheated on me with a girl I never met? That's not funny. There's nothing funny in this. And it's not funny that this Michelle and Lauren, where some lady used my insurance for 15 years. Okay, ran up all kinds of medical bills, seen all kinds of doctors I never seen, stayed in the hospital using my insurance, and stuck me with tens and tens and tens of thousands of dollars worth of copays over 15 years. Found out through a hospital they had called me again with another medical bill. I want to talk about your stay in the hospital. I said, I haven't stayed in your hospital in years. And I tell them about this lady that's using my insurance. Well, you see Dr. So-and-so. Never heard of him. She said, Uh, well, we sat and talked. I said, ma'am, I've never met you. Well, you said you have 2 little girls. I said, I have 3 boys. I told you it's this lady using my insurance. Instead of her calling the police, she hung up on me. And those 2 girls that Michelle and Lauren saying they're Dave's illegitimate daughters, well, that's really not funny because my brother knew of her, every union rep for the committee. My mom knew of her. And all the different medical bills, stays, doctors, half my medical records for 15 years are hers. So those girls saying that they're actually that lady's daughter that defrauded me, committed insurance fraud, ran up all those bills, it's not even funny. And it's not even funny that agent's saying he's dating one of them. Do you realize if he would marry her, I know I was only married to Dave, but wouldn't that kind of sort of make me like his stepmother? Ew. Think about it. In a weird way. And do you realize that? Where their mother ripped me off of all that money over those years, but they think that her daughter should be just as big as con men? Think about the mentality of this. And then the mentality of that agent and how big of a lowlife he is. I called the FBI hotline. And when the phone's ringing the next morning, they have me so drugged up, I can't even wake up. Let it go to voicemail. Later on, staggered to the bathroom, staggered to the refrigerator, got back in bed. And listen to voicemail. This is Agent da-da-da. Call me back. And I can't. I fell back to sleep. Second day, not much better. Third day, made myself get up. Sitting on the front porch, holding my head. What's wrong with me? And I feel drunk, and I don't drink. Got enough air in my face. Okay? Called one of my witnesses, went down and bought a card, put her that agent's number in it from the voicemail, dropped it off at her work, and her manager put it in her locker, went up to Apostolic Church of Barberton. He's up there telling on me. Paymer's screaming at Dave, my God, I had an FBI agent in my office. He's right there. Okay? I walk off, women come up. He knows she's being drug, beaten, raped, and he said he didn't care. I'm covered in bruises, lost 18 pounds. Severely infected, and where I thought it was a dirty well water showering in, it gave me cancer. And here are sexual predators. Okay? Go in and sit down. They follow me. He knows she's being drug, beaten, raped, and he said he didn't care because the strangest baby lie of faking you were sick. Knows the medication error, medical malpractice. Okay? And if she was going to be mean to women, he didn't care what they did to her. And he was going to turn her back over to him. Can you imagine an agent saying that? Dave comes in, let's go, threatens to kill me on the way home, goes for a gun. I put my hand on the console. He punches me all the way home, and I ran from him when I got home. Next day, I called that agent back, rivers of tears, scared out of my mind. Okay? Okay? I tell him someone told on me. He calls me a liar. I tell him about the guy that threatened to knife me at Giant Eagle. He calls me a liar. I tell him he tried to kidnap me before I can say Terry Coberly seen him. He's like, oh, come on now. Even if a church person seen him, they'd never verify it. That's why I didn't tell him about Terry. Okay? And he said, I met with that family in my office, which what the fuck were they doing there? It's 15 years later, her father runs a stop sign into a semi. 6 months later, somebody makes up a maybe lie on me that has nothing to do with them. Then 15 years later, what the fuck are they doing there? Had nothing to do with them? I met with that family in my office. And all those church people, and I know they're trying to kill you because the strangest baby liar calling you a faker. Now, who kills somebody because someone called them a faker 15 years ago? Don't even go to church with them. They had to hunt me down. Just because their minister made up a baby lie. A little 8-year-old baby lie. Has nothing to do with any of them. But they're going to hunt me down and kill me? Think of a pathetic excuse. Okay? And I know they're trying to kill you because of Strange's lie of faking you were sick and faking you got well. Now, I was really sick. It was medical malpractice and medication errors almost killed me. Documented, even now by the police. Okay? And it was documented by Altman Family Physicians in 2002 and proven in 2003 when I got well. Dr. Eli and Altman Family Physicians told the police in 18 that it was a medication error that made me sick before. Medical malpractice and fraud. Those doctors were lying, falsely diagnosing me, ripping me off, making me sick, wanting to do unnecessary brain surgery. And that office actually saved my life by telling me how big of a crooks they were. Okay? And over 9 months I got well. I had nothing to do with them. Okay. And I said I really was sick. I was almost dead time, and they told me. Okay? And I really was sick. You liar. Was there a camera above the bench? When you heard that guy's voice, I don't know. You say you're lying, I'll arrest you. And I said, what? He said, I said, say you're lying, or I'll put you in jail. You hear me? And it's like, fine, whatever. Ha. Marlisa's niece got taken by the same guy, and they never got him back on Christmas of 2018. She's dead because of you. Is that still funny? And all the other people that got taken by him, are you still really funny? Okay. Now I want you to say you were faking you were sick before. I really was sick. And goes back to meeting with the family in his office and all those church people. He knew they were trying to kill me. Now, trying to kill someone is attempted murder and conspiracy to commit murder, and they're federal crimes by federal law. He was breaking the law, not arresting them. It's a 20-year sentence. It's a federal crime. It's a federal crime. And he's laughing how a church is committing federal crimes. And he's helping. He's like, I've met with that family in my office and all those church people, and I know they're trying to kill you because you were faking you were sick and faking you got well while that family was grieving. And you need to realize what you've done, and I don't blame them for trying to kill you. He actually says that. Like an investigator said, I listened to the recorded line. He actually said that. I almost fell out of my chair. The way he talked to her. I said, I really was sick. You either say it or I'll leave you there. But they'll kill me so. They've tried to kill me so. He's aiding and abetting murder on a recorded line. And premeditated murder. Think about what he's saying on a recorded line. Okay? And I said, but I really was sick. You either say it or I'll leave you there. They'll kill me. So they'll try to kill me. So then say it or I'll leave you there. Please don't let them kill me. Say it or I'll leave you there. It's like, fine, whatever. Well, people are dead because of you. You're really not funny. And helping out an occult get away with murder. Okay? I said, he said, why would the FBI help a person like you? Well, they're going to try to kill me, so. They've tried to kill me, so. The other agent yelled out, we could always use the drug dealer where Dave hired Pete on his own, and it was Pete and his men. The drug cartel guy. My rapist. Some drug dealer, that like the investigators call him, an old drug dealer from Ravenna. I've never met him. We could use Pete's tape of Weird With Yourself, where it's a shower scene in the other room. Not on purpose to make you look weird. Pete ordered everything to be drugged, photoshopped, and made up on you. They drugged you and told you to say it before. They put two clips together to put it in porn, and what you're describing is showering. Ha! She figured out what they did. FBI agent John fell for the stunt of Dave Sifford. They were only a stunt. You're kidding. You mean FBI agent John fell for the stunt of Dave Sifford? Is that what's going on? Ha ha ha! Yeah, this is where he's being a damn fool. He's making fun of me for someone I've never met. Okay? I said, what are you talking about? Because it's a photoshopping or showering. Even Carl and I, my boyfriend, we were talking. I said, well, you heard Jen admit she didn't know anything about no shower seat in the other room to make me look weird. And she knew I had bruises, throwing up, and almost passing out in front of people, but she didn't know people were drugging me up and telling me to say stuff and beating on me. And they tried to get her and Danny arrested for being part of this, and they knew nothing, and neither did the kids. Okay? All right. And I said, what are you talking about? And then he said something else about Pete. Now, I've never met him. They're talking about where I come in from working outside. I take a drink in the room and go dizzy, and black hours later wake up with bruises, throwing up, headache, almost passing out, and severely infected. They're talking about my rapist, or waking up with injection marks like that old man showing up trying to say he had sodium pentothal reports, was drugging me up for Dave and telling me to say lies and laughing at me in front of the cops the first month. They're talking about my rapist that I've never met. Do you know how many men laughed at me, how they framed me, drugged me up, and told me to say all kinds of crazy crap, and played with me under drugs? It's not funny, the cartels breaking in private homes and playing with people. There was nothing for that agent to laugh at. I said, what are you talking about? Well, I bet you're going to say you don't know anything about this doctor selling your information. Well, doctors can't sell your information. They can't even testify against you in court. There's HIPAA violations, 1 to 5 years, $250,000 fine, and you can sue them for $1.5 million. It's illegal for them to talk to anybody without your consent. And December 31st, 23, Altman Hospital denounced them that they had some guy impersonate a doctor selling people's information, and nobody would ever back those doctors from before. My God, they lied so bad. They said she had brain tumors and it was the medication making her sick. They were just ripping her off. Altman Hospital denouncing everybody. Okay? All right. I said, what are you talking about? Why had that lady use my insurance, cost me all that money over those years? And I thought maybe it's one of her bills. No, it's just another drug scam. Whole thing is a scam. Drug confessions and photoshopping and washing. I said, what are you talking about? He's laughing at me, to this guy, and he said, stop, you don't know. And he said, give me a real reason why I tell him about my brother-in-law, Craig, that died working for the government. And he said, first of all, have you talked to any law enforcement? I said, the only 2 police officers I've ever talked to. I had a light in the security system. They came out at midnight on August 8th of 18, 911 call. Told me it looked like an alien orb, an angry spirit. Thought they were dehydrated. I offered them water. And then they told me to buy a dog and let a dog handle it. They don't want bothered out here. You're kidding, right? I said, no. Matter of fact, I've never had my neighbors in my home. I've only had family and repair guys. What are you talking about? Is that what's going on? He said, do you know if Dave's cheating? I said, I've never caught him. He starts laughing and he tells the other guy, she's never caught him. Why is that funny? They verified it December 9th, 18. I never caught him with anyone. Okay? Okay. So, then he said, well, I could take you somewhere and leave you with no money. I don't have money to start. He said, well, if you agree to get information on Dave in the churches, it comes with $5,000 a month. I said, well, I can do that. He said, I'll open an informant case. Loan the money on the card. He said, when are you going to be able to pick it up? I don't know. Well, hell broke loose after that. He said, you'll have a life of peace as an informant. Nothing legally stated, dated against you again. And only for you, and only for you. What do we do ever do this for? We'll always put it back as if it never happened. And you can't be legally charged for anything again for working this case. That's why my fingerprints are sealed. FBI informant. You pull my background, it comes up sealed. This person's fingerprints are sealed. Okay? He said, you'll have a life of peace as an informant. Nothing legally stated, dated against you ever again for working this case, and only for you, and only for you. For what do we do this for? We'll always put it back as if it never happened. And you can't be legally charged for anything again for working this case, and you have that money to live on. Admit no wrongdoing, and I'll take care of everything in the end. But if you try to tell someone, I'll list you crazy, no one will help you. I told the Stark County Prosecutor's Office that. He laughed till he cried. He said, first of all, the police know they can't go along with any of that. The only thing legal he did was list your informant with money and immunity. That agent is only a hired police officer. He don't even have the authority to ask anybody to stay quiet. It takes a judge due to the freedom of speech. It can't be in the court order, and the judge couldn't have signed it if it was, because the freedom of speech, it takes only him to put a gag order on you, and he can only do it during a jury trial. Okay? He said, that agent is only a hired police officer. He can't even ask you to stay quiet. Informants are different. You're in one of the many witness protection programs. Informants are different. You stay yourself, you feed them information, you tell whoever you want. He can't say a word. And I said, well, I already confessed he told on me. He can't tell on you, but you can say it, tell whoever you want. And he can't say a word. He's just a hired police officer. And he can't bully you into false statements. He cannot withhold your money. He cannot misdirect it. And he cannot make up restrictions that he don't even have authority to say. And the police know they can't go along with it. Get the money for risking your life to get the government information. Then they owe you for the rest of your life because you risked their life to get them information on these people. And these people actually try to kill you. They could wait and try to kill you again. And you'll have to stay in a witness protection program the rest of your life. And you'll get paid the rest of your life for risking your life to get them information. And he can't misdirect it or withhold it. And the police know that. They can't go along with any of that. Only thing he did legal was list you informant with money and immunity. That's all that can be in that quarter. I found out they can put living, housing expenses, and a medical card. He stole every dime from the government before I even got it. Where I talked to Sheriff David Mike DeWine's cousin, he said if he stole your money, he's so arrogant with you, he stole other people's money and got away with it. Now he don't care who knows he's stealing. He's doing Bonnie and Clyde with that girl. In front of the cops, stealing. Running every scam, thinking he's some kind of big celebrity, stealing from victims in front of people. And he's giving it to the human traffickers. That's how not funny it is. They rode with the human traffickers. He admitted on December 18th, 24, where he came in. Karen never knew who Michelle was till January, February 19th. No. She told me she threatened her and she didn't know who she was. No. I made sure of it. Well, I told those people I didn't care what they did to her. She was going to threaten her and she didn't know who she was. He's like, no, I made sure of it. She didn't even know who she was. So she announced herself. Still never talked to her. And then he's like, I told that drug dealer that bet that no one would want her after everything he had done to her, that to leave her alone. I heard Karen's getting remarried again. I knew she had it in her. He's in it with the drug dealers, making bets over me. He's in it with a cartel. I didn't believe that agent was real. So I Googled the office he was at when I heard Dave threatened Dixie and the baby's life and had a list. Called down there, they yelled it out to him. I called back down when I seen that guy, one of the guys they hired, and he took off through the side woods. She seen that guy. Tell the police up there to get a hold of it. We're busy. They're too busy in the serial killers down the road. A little busy myself. Okay? Then I called back down there again. He was no longer with the FBI. So the other agent that lied to the U.S. Marshals has to be the one that was laughing with him. Because he knew he was lying. Like the police said, we always knew it was Photoshop of washing herself in the shower in the other room. And we always knew they drugged her and told her to say it before. I'd never seen her talk to anybody. I thought the dirty well water that was orange-brown I was showering in was giving me cancer. I didn't, like they said, when the case first started, Karen's ex-husband had her so drugged up. They were drug beating, raping her. She wasn't realizing what was happening. They said it was some guy, some judge messed up in the drug cartel. Well, no, it's just some guy saying he's a judge. Where that drug dealer Pete started telling everybody he was Judge Pete. Well, the Florida human traffickers that were here, the big truck guys, even Lori, the one coworker, that they took even her niece. Okay. She didn't realize it was them. She knew about the guys in the white van that were kidnapping people, but she didn't know she was drinking with her family serial killers, that they all worked together. I said, did you see the big truck guys that were from Florida here in Louisville in 19? Yes, they were in the bars. Me and my boyfriend would go in there. I said, they said they were drug dealers. Yes, they did. Did you know about Henry Maffei? Sounds about right. He was with them. I show her the picture from Facebook. That's not him, but he is with them. Okay? They also told people out of the that they were human traffickers and they worked for Judge Pete. They were the ones that said they worked for Judge Pete. There was a Judge Peters from Florida, and they told people in the mall they were up here getting special order girls, 5'3", 135 blonde girls. They were relocating in Florida to a resort area. There was a Judge Peters that was arrested in 22 with 108 human traffickers that were connected to Disney. Put the pieces together. It was retired Judge Peters from Florida, where they said retired Judge Pete and they were from Florida. It was Judge Peters. They were the ones that said they worked for Judge Pete. They were human trafficking people. They were relocating them to Florida by a resort area. Remember in the mall? 19, 18, 19? Special orders, 5'3", 135 blonde girls. Okay. Then we got the Kingsman for Texas. We all work for the King from Texas. We are his men. Dave hired us. He's a drug lord. Look him up. He's a fentanyl king, U.S. military, Iraqi translator, went into the dark web, malware, fentanyl king. And then if you look up the case for Judge Peters and that 108 human traffickers, they had a pipeline between selling people between Florida, Louisiana, and Texas. Then all the other drug cartels coming here and helping run a big scam. Selling people. Now you think about that agent helping all those people being killed and taken and all those children. The U.S. Marshal showed up January 20th, 23. Wooster met my friend Maddie for dinner, and he's talking about having a friend on the police department, knew about the case that agent opened with me, knew about the Texas group, and that there was a retired judge in Texas involved in this human trafficking scam. They went down to question him. And he killed himself, and then he said there was another retired judge, and I thought he said Louisiana was involved. And he said it was going on and on and on, and how they're going to use that case that agent opened with me, and you have so much hurt and pain in your eyes. And then he drills me, tell him stuttering. I walk outside, they walk out where the U.S. Marshals were going to be taking care of this. That agent left her there. Can you imagine he left her there? He said he left her there because she was weird with herself. Who would care who she was? It was probably them and not her. It was them and not her. Think about that. We'll take care of them. Boy, they took care of them. They got 800 of them in 3 weeks. Okay? My one neighbor went down because he's seen the big truck guys from Florida at Faith Family Church impersonating the FBI, and he went down and talked to the U.S. Marshals. He met one of the men they saved his life because of my case. Where the places said you need to be proud of what you lived through, because of what you lived through. We saved a lot of lives. We need to be proud. Well, my neighbor met one of them. These people have admitted from May 25th, 21, 8/9/21 of being drugged and told to say it. January 19, 22, February 2nd, 22 of being drugged and told to say it. December 9, 21, a white man bald with dark eyes distributing food at the Starr County Hunger Task Force on 9th Street worked my case. Came out, we always knew the tapes before were them and not So he never said a word. Where January 5th, 25, what is this? Another FBI agent lied to the U.S. Marshal she was weird with herself. We always knew it was photoshopped of washing herself in the shower. We always knew it was photoshopped. And we also knew they drugged her and told her to say it before. We always knew that. I thought the dirty well water was giving me cancer. I never seen her talk to anyone. All right, so December 9, 21, 4 p.m. at the Oakland apartment on Cleveland Avenue. He was a maintenance man. They told him all the tapes before were them and not me. It's just a bunch of men doing crimes down here. Okay. March 1st to 3rd of 21, they said they put 2 clips together, put her in a porn. It's not her, it's them. Then what you're describing as showering. Ha 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 ha. She figured out what they did. May 12th, 22 at noon, they found a tape of them emitting a shower scene in the other room. May 26th, 22 at noon, the shower scene was done on purpose. They told Navarre in January or February, maybe February or March of 22, that Pete ordered everything to be drugged, photoshopped, and made up on me. They admitted to framing me March 24th, 22, 1:30. They made fun of FBI agent John that he would actually fall for the stun of tapes before. Oh, come on, now that FBI agent fell for the stun of tapes before. Is that what's going on? June 7th, 23. Walmart 62 sold videos of him mocking him. November 18th, 22. Eric, one of the drug dealers of all the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, my idea to say it. For all these people turn on and they fell for June 23rd to July 4th of 23, they said they went to a party and they were the life of the party, how they made fools out of all these people with their started tapes before, and they all fooled them into helping out. Yeah. From the first month of case, a little white man showed up at Woodforest in front of the cops. For every other word you tell on us, I'll turn on you. I'm like, who are you? You know that bruise on your leg? I used, he's even said, if you try to leave Dave, I'll let you tell him last. I'm like, who are you? You know that bruise on your leg? I used sodium pentothal. No. He stuck me with a date rape amnesia drug. Told me to say a wrong nightgown and tushy line. Then threatened me again. Got away from that freak. Went home to a legally bugged house. Had Dave confessed I was dressed modestly and they only seen the back of my knees. He made the whole scenario up. They told Navarre in like February, March of 22, Pete ordered everything drugged, photoshopped, and made up on me. March 20th, 24, they were laughing again in Walmart 62 that they made everything up on me. They made up their retired Judge Pete. They made up everything on her to get away with this. But there was the Florida people, the Florida truck guys, said they worked for retired Judge Pete. They were from Florida. It's Judge Peters. For retired Judge Peters, because they wouldn't be working for a local retired judge. They were from Florida. And they said they worked for retired Judge Pete, and they were from Florida. It was Judge Peters. See, you got to listen to these people. Just like they said there was a prince from Africa taking up money, having people help pay for people to protect me. There was a guy impersonating a prince from Africa, embezzled money from people, almost $1 million. There's real people behind who did this and that ran the scam. Just like they said there was a Russian involved. They actually got a major Russian drug lord in August of 24 out of Ohio. They said that, now I looked up his picture, it wasn't the guy that I seen. And the one guy in Hartville described a tall, white guy, thin, whitish blonde hair, clean cut, expensive dress shirt, sleeves rolled up, expensive dress pants. His group of human traffickers were grabbing people and selling them out of hotels. And a lot of his people got arrested, and he adopted one of the human traffickers' children. Because that mother's not going to get out of jail. See, there's real people that were doing this. The California drug dealers, Buffalo, New York, Michigan, North and South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Georgia human traffickers, Florida human traffickers, Texas human traffickers, all bringing their crimes under police surveillance for an FBI informant with threat of life, with statements, and a court order from a judge. Like they said, with the case that agent opened up, the way he opened it, it can't be disputed. It's legal police surveillance, and they don't even need it. It was bad guys on a platter. All right, I'm going to upload this. But like they said, January 5th, 25, another FBI agent lied to the U.S. Marshals. She was weird with herself. It was a shower scene of washing herself in the shower. We always knew that. Even Danny and Jen, I went to them on Christmas Eve of 22, and Carl's even my boyfriend heard Jen say she didn't know about no shower scene in any room to make me look weird. She didn't know about button cameras. She didn't know somebody was drug and beating me, but she knew I had bruises, throwing up, and almost passing out. But she did not know people were harming me and photoshopping, washing in the other room. Neither did Danny, and neither did the kids on Christmas Eve of 22. And then she's repeated it for my boyfriend to hear, that she didn't know any of this. And she didn't know of anything of that weird Eric of all the tapes before were me and not her. It was my idea to come up with it, my idea to do it, my idea to say it for all these people to turn on, and they fell for Well, it's just as bad as when the drug cartel roofied my neighbor Mike. He came up to me when I walked out of my apartment at 5 in the morning. I got a problem. I got home. I'm like, go sleep it off. He kept saying, I said, well, you remember the second beer. Go sleep it off. He's like, you don't understand. I got money in my pocket. I don't know where it came from. I'm like, check your bank. He did what I told him to. Then he's like, well, that explains the money. But what was in the box with mustard and how do you change my shoes? It's just like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Huh? And I'm like, go sleep it off. I thought, my God, someone's roofied him. Then he looks at me plain as day. I used to be a New York cop and you're pretty. I'm like, you really need to sleep that off. He's like, you want to go cuddle? I'm like, go sleep it off. Told him later, he told me he was a New York cop. He said, I'll remember saying that to you. He said, I went back down to the bar, found out in the middle of the second beer, started telling people I was an astronaut. And apparently he took himself out all night with no memory. It's not funny they do people like that. Oh, they did it to my coworker Dar. She got roofied in a bar. They said, her friend said she took a drink, acted a little happy, acting and talking fine. A group of people came up they didn't know. She left with them. They didn't think anything of it. She found herself in a puddle of pee. Got herself home throwing up the next day. 2 months later, she found out she was pregnant again. They had raped her and redressed her. They roofied a Marshall's kid twice. She took a drink she went to Jersey's bar, took a drink, and the room went dizzy and black. Don't know what happened to her. Another time she went out to another bar, she took a drink and the same thing, that went dizzy and black like me. She ended up in the hospital, didn't know how she got out of that bar. It's not funny they're playing with people like that. Not at all. And you're sleepwalking. That's where I talk to other police officers. We all know about those amnesia drugs. You're sleepwalking under someone else's control. As if people don't know what acid, LSD, illicit drugs. There's over 20 prescription drugs in high doses that will make you sleepwalk. Without all the illegal ones. And them breaking in, lacing people's drinks when they're out of the room and they don't even know they're home. They're in their home. They're hiding in their home. Think of how sick that is. Or stabbing somebody in their sleep with a date rape drug and tell them to say something stupid. It's sick and satanic, and having the poor thing beat and raped and wake up like that and have no idea what happened to him. Go to the doctor, what on earth is wrong with me? And nobody's thinking of a rapist. You're in there for a migraine headache, throwing up, giant bruises all over you, muscle pain, severely infected, and they're trying to think you're anemic, muscle pain. And I'm blaming the dirty well water, thinking it's giving me cancer, and no memory of anything. Satanic what they did. There was nothing for them to laugh at.